The original Firefalls in Yosemite was an event where park staff would push glowing embers off the top of Glacier Point. And from the valley below, this would look like a glowing waterfall. It lasted for almost 100 years. In 1968, the Firefalls were officially canceled for obvious reasons. Today, thousands of people gather in Yosemite for a more natural version of the Firefalls. Every February, the sun illuminates Horsetail Falls at sunset. The waterfall glows orange, and it looks like lava flowing down the granite wall. So going to Firefalls has been something that I have pretty much always wanted to do. And in February, I finally made it happen. The best time to see Firefalls this year was February 22nd at around 5:40 p.m. My goal was to be in Yosemite on the 20th and stay for about a week. This gave me around 9 days to get there from Colorado. There were a ton of stops to make along the way though, and after 10 hours of driving, I finally made it to my first stop, Zion National Park. After exploring the park for the next couple of days, I decided it was time to get back on the road. Today I'm going to Valley of Fire State Park, which is just outside of Vegas, which is about 3 hours from here. Yesterday I went to this place called the... Actually, I don't really want to tell you what it's called, but here's some photos of it. Yeah, it was very cool. But anyway, let's get going to Valley of Fire. I then made it to California. I would spend the next few days in LA until finally heading north to Yosemite. So I made it to Yosemite about like an hour ago maybe, and I've kind of just been driving around checking out a few spots. So right now I'm driving to Half Dome. It's about 4:15ish, and that Horsetail Falls, which is where the Firefalls happen, doesn't happen until like around 5:30 at night. I'm just kind of driving around seeing as much as I can see until then, and then I'll start heading that way in like 20 minutes or so. It's like right in front of me is Half Dome. Honestly, just like some of the craziest looking like mountain rock formations I've ever seen. It's so cool. On the first night that I got to Horsetail Falls, it was pretty obvious that there was no water flowing. Normally the valley gets way more snow than it did this year, so a lot of the rivers and waterfalls were dried up. But despite that, I still went and took pictures as if there would have been water there. And these are some of the shots that I got. So last night when I got back to my car, there was 2 rangers kind of just waiting for everyone in the parking lot who didn't have a handicap sticker. And unfortunately, I did not see the handicap sign because it was behind another car. So I ended up getting like a $280 ticket, which sucks. So that's kind of a bummer, but kind of a rough way to start out the trip. Anyway, after that, I drove down into town and found a little park to sleep at. I went to bed like super early last night. So this morning, woke up for sunrise, doing some shooting for Ice Mule, and that's kind of what I've been up to this morning. It's a lot colder than it was in LA, so it's a little bit different, but mornings here, super nice. It's just really quiet. There's like nobody in the park, like nothing compared to how it was last night. So I was a little bit disappointed that next morning, as you might be able to tell, and one reason was because of that almost $300 ticket that I had just gotten, but mostly because there wasn't going to be a Firefalls this year, and I had just taken this 3,000-mile road trip for pretty much no reason, or at least that's what I kept telling myself.
But over the next few days, I kept exploring Yosemite. I really just tried to enjoy myself in such a unique place. For example, one of the days I was there, it started raining like crazy. The entire park was pretty much in a cloud and you really couldn't see much of anything. It was one of those days where if you saw that type of weather, you just probably wouldn't go out and shoot. So I decided to drive into town, and I found a little coffee shop where I ended up working for a few hours, just getting caught up on editing and emails. I was debating whether or not to drive back into the park for sunset. The forecast showed more rain, and it looked like that same weather was going to keep up for the rest of the day. But I decided to drive back into the park anyway. Pretty much right as I pulled up, the brightest rainbow I have ever seen in my entire life appeared right in front of El Cap. And I think it's funny because I actually don't have any pictures of it or videos. I just pretty much was driving into the park and didn't even have a chance before the rainbow disappeared again. And that's something that I'll probably remember more than a lot of the times I was taking photos. It was so much better than any Firefalls ever could have been. And I think the reason why is because it was so unexpected. In hindsight, I think I built Firefalls up to be this incredible thing, when in reality, the entire park was what made it so special. So the next time you go somewhere or do something, try and go into it with no expectations. Instead of being let down or disappointed like I was, try and enjoy that moment or place for what it is, instead of being worried about what it could have been. I hope that you guys enjoyed that video. I wanted to do something a little bit different than just a cinematic video or a vlog. I wanted to kind of just tell a story about appreciating places for what they are. Also, I wanted to mention that we hit 500 subscribers last week, which is insane, and I think we already have 530, which is crazy. I just wanted to say I really appreciate everyone who watches these videos, and if you're not subscribed yet, please go ahead and subscribe. Anyways, again, appreciate all of you, and I will see you in the next video. Later.
So, I've been thinking about like how powerful my like little one burner stove is, and I got some orange chicken.
Alright, so we have all of the ingredients, which is extra virgin olive spray. I would say that this was a success, and I rate this 5 Lagunitas out of 7. So
also, some dude just like came up to me and asked if I could buy him a Black and Mild, like while I was getting gas. And I was like, how old are you? He was like, 20. And I was like, oh, well, just wait a year. And then he got really mad and left. And I was like, dude, I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do about it. LA is a weird place.